Okay, so what if I told you that some of those things we call lazy habits, the messy desk, forgetting a name here and there, what if they aren't actually flaws? Today, we're going to dive into this really fascinating idea that they might just be the secret trademarks of a super efficient, maybe even genius-level mind. So let me just ask you, have you ever gotten that look? You know the one, the sideways glance at your desk, which is, let's say, creatively organized. Or maybe you felt that hot flash of embarrassment when you totally blank on the name of someone you literally just met. Yeah, we've all been there, and it's so easy to beat ourselves up about it. But here's the twist. What if psychology offers a totally different take on this? It suggests that those things we think are signs of laziness might actually be your brain working smarter, not harder. They could be clues that you've got this incredible cognitive efficiency going on. All right, let's tackle the first big one, the one everyone sees, the messy desk. We're always told it's a sign of chaos, right? But the science? Well, it suggests something else entirely, that it's actually an environment perfectly optimized for a certain kind of genius. So the myth we've all been fed is that a messy desk means you've got a messy mind. Simple as that. But the reality is, a little clutter can actually force our brains to break free from conventional thinking. It sparks creativity. And it's not just random chaos. It's a hidden system, organized by what's important, not by what looks pretty. This reminds me of that amazing quote, often linked to Albert Einstein, that just flips the whole idea on its head. It goes, "If a cluttered desk is a sign of a cluttered mind, of what then is an empty desk a sign?" It really makes you think, doesn't it? An empty desk might look nice and clean, but does it really reflect a mind that's buzzing with ideas and projects? It's a pretty powerful question.
And get this, psychology actually has a name for it: creative restructuring. This isn't just some fancy excuse for being messy. No, it's a real cognitive process. It means your brain and your space are perfectly in sync. To an outsider, it looks like a pile of papers. But to you, it's a physical to-do list where the most urgent stuff is literally right on top.
Okay, so our second lazy habit. This one can feel a little more personal. Being forgetful. Not just where you left your keys, but, names, dates, little details. We see it as a weakness, but what if it's actually your brain's secret weapon? The myth is that if you forget something, your memory is failing. Or worse, that you just don't care. But the reality is so much cooler. See, your brain has a limited amount of energy. So forgetting the trivial stuff, that's a sign that your mind is an expert at filtering out the noise. It's saving its precious resources for the big picture, for actually solving problems. And this leads us to a really key concept called attention allocation. This is a super high-level brain function. Your brain is constantly, subconsciously asking, is this information absolutely critical? And if the answer is no, poof, it gets tossed. It's not a failure. It's a totally ruthless and brilliant prioritization system. And that brings us to our third and final habit. And this one happens in our social lives. You know that feeling when you have to make small talk about the weather? If you dread that stuff, you might have been called awkward or even antisocial. But what if it's just a sign that your mind is hungry for something more substantial? Right, so the myth is that if you're not good at small talk, it's some kind of social flaw. But the reality, for a lot of really intelligent minds, that kind of superficial chat feels like a complete waste of energy. It's not that you dislike people, it's that you crave real connection. You want to skip the fluff and get right to the big, juicy ideas. The official term for this is cognitive preference. It basically means your brain is hardwired to look for stimulation. And trivial chit-chat, it just doesn't deliver. It's kind of like trying to run a high-performance race car on cheap gas. Your brain just naturally rejects it because it wants conversations that are going to challenge it and make it grow. So when you put it all together, what do we have? The messy desk, the forgotten name, the hatred of small talk. What's the common thread? It all comes down to one thing: efficiency. It's all about a brain that is expertly wired to save energy and focus only on what really, truly matters. So let's just reframe these things, right? Let's stop calling them lazy habits and start calling them what they are: superpowers. That creative mess on your desk, that's creative restructuring. That moment of forgetfulness, that's your brain using its amazing attention allocation tool. And your dislike of small talk, that's a cognitive preference for depth. Our culture is obsessed with the idea that being busy means you're important and being tidy means you're smart. But true intelligence isn't about how busy you look. It's about cognitive efficiency. It's about getting the absolute most bang for your buck from your mental energy, and sometimes from the outside, that can look a little lazy. So now that you know the science behind all this, I'll just leave you with this question. Which one of your lazy habits are you going to stop apologizing for and start embracing as a sign of your own efficient, brilliant mind?